Hey, yo, Stephen A. Smith, you owe my boy Kawhi Leonard an apology, man. Yeah, man. You owe that man an apology.
Oh, yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
So for those of you who heavily follow sports, specifically the NBA, then you will know that a few days ago, the bombshell shocking report came out that Kawhi Leonard was going to be missing Game 3. Caught everybody off guard. He played the first two games like he was the best player in the all playoffs, if you ask me. And then out of nowhere, it was announced that he wasn't going to play in Game 3. And we were all surprised and shocked. He looked healthy and dominant, but he has a sprained knee or something like that, so he was going to sit Game 3 out. Well, now it's been officially reported that he's going to miss today's game as well, which is Game 4. And Kawhi Leonard has been my favorite player for like the last 7 or 8 years. And Kevin Durant has been my second favorite player of like the last 7 or 8 years. And they just happen to be playing against one another, right? And it already sucks that Kawhi Leonard is, load managed throughout the entire season, so you barely ever get to see the man play. And then the playoffs come, and then this happens, right? He injures his knee, and you don't ever really get to see him play. And he's not above criticism. But something that's very popular in sports that I've talked about before on this channel is that we sensationalize everything. It's such an American thing, in my opinion, that we are so spoiled by these athletes and these entertainers that when they're not doing something that we want them to do, or we feel like they owe it to us, then we get on TV or we get on our platforms, our channels, and we come out and we want to say whatever we want about people without remembering that these people are human beings, without remembering that these people have their own personal lives, all right? So Stephen A. Smith decided to go on his show, First Take, and he had this to say about Kawhi Leonard missing Game 3.
Kawhi Leonard should be on the list of one of the worst superstars this game has ever seen. That's right, I said it. With Kawhi Leonard, you're looking at him and like, he just dropped 38. He fine. And then after the game, you hear, well, something happened. What do you mean what's happened? We just saw him. He was balling. What are you talking about? And then after that, okay, he shows up the next game, he's in street clothes. But then 2 days later, he could go today. Combined with the absence of a personality to promote and market his team and the sport, considering all he asks for and demands, is what makes it pathetic. He is the worst superstar that you could possibly have, in my opinion, because he's not available at least half the time, and he does absolutely, positively nothing to help market your brand so you can capitalize off of his presence in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
And if you notice, he said it without saying it, but in so many words, it sounds like he's blaming Kawhi Leonard for having the type of personality that he has, and it sounds like he's blaming Kawhi Leonard for being injured. Now, again, I'm going to say as somebody who loves to watch Kawhi Leonard play, it sucks, and he's not above criticism or critique as a public figure. But nonetheless, you never know what somebody has going on in their life, so I'm not going to criticize somebody for being injury prone or having injuries. I'm not going to criticize somebody for having a certain type of personality who he's not as outgoing and not as charismatic as say, Stephen Curry or somebody. Everybody's different, right? But anyway, so it was just reported, I believe yesterday, that Kawhi Leonard's sister, biological sister, has officially been convicted of murder of an 84-year-old elderly woman.
Life in prison without the possibility of parole. That's the sentence for Candace Townsell and Kamisha Williams, convicted of robbing and killing an elderly woman in a Pechanga Resort casino bathroom in 2019. Prosecutors say the two women attacked 84-year-old Afaf Assad as she left the bathroom stall, knocking her to the floor where she hit her head. She never regained consciousness. The two defendants also have prior convictions. Williams is the sister of Clippers star Kawhi Leonard.
Now listen, I'm not condoning the behavior. I'm not condoning what his sister did. Not at all. But at the end of the day, that's still Kawhi Leonard's sister. At the end of the day, this is something I'm without a doubt sure that this man is mentally coping with. This is something he's dealing with in his personal life. I can say if my brother did something wrong, which I'm actually dealing with some stuff like that in my personal life now, very similar actually. If I had somebody in my life who was convicted or charged of doing something that was not right, we can all agree that it was not the right thing for them to do. that wouldn't remove the fact that that's still my sister, or that's still my brother, or that's still my cousin, and I still love them, right? You don't know what these human beings, yes, they're professional athletes, man, but you never know what they're going through. And I feel like when we get on these platforms and we sensationalize everything for views and for, you just want to have the biggest hot takes, to call this man the worst athlete to ever.
He is the worst superstar that you could possibly have, in my opinion.
Like, come on, bro. Like, you reaching. Even if this story didn't come out, it's like, I want to understand where you're coming from, Stephen A., but you be pushing it sometimes. And it to me personally, I don't want to make this about a race thing, but it seems like he go the hardest on black athletes. On so-called black people, it seems like he go the hardest on them. And I covered all of that with the Kyrie Irving thing. I felt like Kyrie got a lot of unfair criticism from Stephen A. Smith and other people in media. I feel like they was just following after one another and reiterating each other's talking points. But this is another prime example. It's like, what do you have to say now, Stephen A. Smith? This man's sister was just convicted to life. You don't think that man is struggling? You don't think that man is going through some stuff? But I guess that really doesn't matter. Let me guess. You're going to come out and say, well, I had no idea. Listen, I stand behind everything I said about Kawhi Leonard on the floor. But still, man, like, you owe that man an apology because you don't know what he's dealing with. Y'all worried about a basketball game, somebody dribbling the ball up and down the floor and putting it in a hoop for you, for your satisfaction, for your gratification. And he's dealing with real world problems in his real life. This has always been my problem with media, man, especially sports media. Y'all up in the comment section, man, and give me y'all thoughts on this situation. Did y'all know that, this has been an ongoing case for the last 3 years with Kawhi Leonard's sister? Were you already familiar with this? Because I'm just not finding out. Did you know that as of yesterday, she was convicted of this terrible, heinous crime? Give me your thoughts on what y'all think about this situation, man. My prayers and condolences go out to Kawhi Leonard and his family, that you all properly heal and cope with this situation going forward. Until next time, yo. Peace.
Oh, yeah, Diddy got a podcast.